Hello and welcome back to the Car Throttle podcast, where Ethan, Jack and I read out your emails, act as your automotive agony uncles, and discuss unpopular opinions. All right.
You've been practicing.
I have, yeah. No, I thought I'd bring it back because lots of people have been complaining that there's not enough singing.
Have they?
Anyway, this week we're joined by TV's favourite mechanic, creator of the world's fastest sofa, and purveyor of orange gloves, Mr. Edd China.
Yes, indeed.
How are you doing? Where are your orange gloves?
They're actually not on my hands or even on a bench, which is actually very rude. So they're behind you somewhere.
Oh, they're behind me somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, there's a big
They're
orange.
always around.
Yeah, they're always around. Anyway, Ed, it's an absolute pleasure having you on the Car Throttle podcast. How are you doing?
Good. Actually, it's kind of been a really interesting year for us. I guess everybody else has been having a hard time. We've just done more work, but in a more concentrated way. So it's been rather lovely.
So what kind of work are we talking?
Just prepreparation for the next big thing. Frankly.
Yeah,
So
for the
lots-
apocalypse.
Well, a bit of that as well. We have got another freezer, just in case. For the avocado, of course, because you never know when that might stop.
I'm so lost right now. I don't know what's happening.
It's been good, yeah.
And tell us, where are we at the moment?
We are in our new kind of Edd's workshop, shall we say. So hence the brilliant acoustics, because it's still rather unfinished. So we're just kind of moving into a space. I haven't had an actual workshop for a long time. And I've got a lot of unfinished projects to get on with.
A lot
so
of
I thought
unfinished
now was the
business.
time to commit. So yeah, exactly. So we've kind of got a sort of a space now where we can have a lot of different vehicles, a lot of different projects, and just kind of get on them. Because you know what it's like, you do one and then you get stuck. You're waiting for a part or whatever, so you want to get onto the next one. And this way I can do that. And maybe, just maybe, if the audience really want it, we might even think about actually filming.
Oh,
Yes.
that's exciting. And talking of vehicles, I'm currently sitting on a crapper, aren't I?
Yes,
Quite
it's actually the
literally.
world's fastest bathroom.
Excellent. What kind of speed are we talking here?
Well, originally I think I said it at 42 miles an hour. I think we at Carfest a while back we did 55-ish or 50, I don't know, something like 50-ish. So it's not awesome yet, but it has got nitrous oxide. You are actually sitting on a nitrous-powered bathroom.
That's amazing. Ethan, how you doing? I
Yeah,
don't know if
yeah, no,
anyone's
I'm
seen.
great.
Ethan's actually down next to me in the bath.
Yeah, anyone listening, I'm sitting in a bath at
Yeah.
the moment. I think Ed's run out of chairs.
No, we've got plenty of chairs. We've just
This also reminds me of a Saturday night, me perched on the edge of a bath, you in there, bubbles.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, in your sidecar.
Yeah, my sidecar on my crapper. Anyway, shall we move it on?
I think so.
Quick, I just wanted to say to everyone who listens and watches, thank you very much, because I went through like loads of comments the other day and lots of people enjoying it. So make sure you keep enjoying it. If you don't, then turn off and watch something else. But
Still comment below. obviously.
still comment below and leave us some good reviews as well, because that's always really nice to see. Anyway, we're going to discuss what we've been up to recently. Jack, let's start with you. It's got to be big, because the last few weeks you haven't been really up to much, have you?
I've just been doing little odd jobs. I've been trying to tidy up the C39, and this weekend I tried to find some boot trim for the E39 that is missing, and no breaker wants to sell it to me. I rang probably about 5 breakers, and I think it's one of those situations where it's such a small piece
it's gonna
that
ruin
no
everything
one
else.
can be bothered to go for the hassle to help me out.
What
Have you
part
thought
are we
of
looking
buying
at?
a whole other car and then taking that bit out
I
and
tell
sell
you,
it?
that is a great idea. I hadn't thought about that.
Or you could just take the part from our 150
I
pound
asked you
E39.
that, and you said
Did
no.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I said how much. You never gave me the
For
price.
free.
Or actually, you could get a job as a valet at a hotel, and then when the right car comes in, you've still got the keys.
I tell you, you're coming up with all the right suggestions.
Absolutely.
so-
Do you
Here's
think?
some scrap.
Do you really think anyone would give Jack a job as a valet? They'd look at him and be
true.
like, "He's definitely going to nick the car."
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I'll
Flaw in the plan.
Ed, what have you been up to recently?
Well, recently, I actually have just been mostly talking in the media about our Guinness World Record. So way behind us, you can see, obviously, is the ice cream van, the world's fastest all-electric ice cream van, 73.921 miles an hour. And those little numbers do make all the difference when you haven't quite got to 99, frankly.
Oh yeah. So the plan is to get to 99.
Yeah, I think so, but I'm going to go with a sort of a bit more retro sort of style vehicle, something from the 70s, maybe nearly as old as me, which was in the 70s. And then basically we're going to try and just make it go as fast as possible. But I think 99 is that golden number.
Oh, it
After
has
that,
to
I think
happen.
the job is done, isn't it?
It really has to. And is this the first electric ice cream van
In the world ever.
record?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, it's the first all-electric ice cream van ever made, for one
Okay.
thing, but it's also the first record. So Guinness were quite particular about a lot of rules. So we had to have the stickers on the windows, where, with the prices, so you know exactly how much.
How
ice
much
cream-
is a 99 plate these days?
Well, I think we charge them at £2.50.
Oh,
I think.
that's why
It
you
says
want
on
to
the-
get to 99.
Oh, come
mate.
on.
Hello,
I was
wakey.
I was just like, well, why don't you want to get to 100? Sure, you want to get to 100.
Should we cut the podcast?
Yes.
Sorry, this is just
Sorry.
this is terrible.
And this is what happens when I get in a bath.
Get your head out the bath. Where were we before you?
Sorry,
rudely-
sorry.
Just the
I'm
rules.
so
So, yeah, so
sorry.
you have to have the stickers on to say what the prices of the ice creams are, and then you also have to have chimes, of course. So we have Yakety Sax, which is Benny Hill's theme, and then we've got,
Can you?
no,
For
I
the people
can't.
who don't know that, can you just give a little rendition?
No, I'm fine with that. And then we've got Ride of the Valkyries as well, which is a bit more dramatic.
Yes, go on.
Wow.
So which is also a good
Go
one.
on.
And then we could actually probably play it.
Maybe we'll do that later.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of cool. And then also you had to be able to serve an ice cream before and after the sort of attempt. So that was actually the hard bit. So I had to contrive a machine that would actually power the ice cream machine electrically rather than the diesel engine, which of course I'd already taken out, even though it only done 14 miles, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, so I've now invented a kit that will convert all ice cream vans ever to electric ice cream.
Is it a generator that you just put on board?
It's not, because you can have no emissions. At the end of the day, for 60 odd years, we've been poisoning our kids while they're queuing for ice cream. I thought now's a good time to stop that.
Yeah.
So now I have.
Excellent. Well,
That's what I've been doing. What about you guys?
well, I haven't got any world records. What I have done though is finally fix my girlfriend's Audi TT.
Good job.
So she turned what?
Apparently.
Yeah. She turned 30 1st of July. I handed her the keys to a Mark 1 Audi TT 1.8 turbo 225 BAM. And then I took the keys away because I said, oh yeah, turbo needs doing, cam chain needs doing, blah, 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 blah.
So you've got all that done?
Yes. Well, yeah, my friend Gareth and I, shout out to Gareth, we've spent the last 6 weekends since 1st of July, getting everything fixed. And I think I bought the car for $950. I think I'm about 1,700 quid deep in the car, which is still a good price for a TT. So yeah,
And they're a fun car. So
they are a really fun car, actually. Very underrated. So she drove the car down from Coventry for the first time ever.
So you'd sent her to Coventry and then she got
No. There is that expression, isn't there? Send
is.
someone to Coventry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all too young. So yeah, she now has a TT, which she's using on a daily basis. But I did say just before, this morning, I was looking out my window. She turned the car on and then I saw the...
Explosion.
No, the coolant light came on and then she phoned me immediately, but I was already outside topping it up with some tap water. Yeah. So anyway, we have a TT.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine, exactly. And if it goes bang, then I'll just bring it to Ed in his lovely new workshop.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Just snip the light.
Snip the light.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't do that.
No?
No.
Bit of tape.
Yeah. Yeah, tape will do. Yeah.
Ethan, down there in the bath, what have you been up to? I love looking down at you from here. This is great.
I've left all my dignity at the door.
Yeah, you didn't have any to bring into the building. Also, this is must be what it feels like to be you standing next to me.
Exactly.
Because the height difference is about a foot.
Yeah. You really are towering over me.
Yeah. Wow, I feel so powerful.
What have I been up to? Oh yeah, I got the tyres on my Jazz sorted. You'll be pleased to know.
Yeah, well, when you did the brakes on the Jazz.
Yes.
Right, I'm going to turn to Ed.
All right.
Did the brakes on the Jazz.
Okay.
Before we even started filming, tyre was completely flat. And his wife has been driving on that tyre for quite a while because all the lettering has been rubbed off. But it's okay because she's only been driving around their 1-and-a-bit-year-old son.
All right.
Yeah. And loads of people actually picked up in the video saying that tyre needs to be done. And
It's
then
probably
I've done
only
it, I've done it,
flat
I've
at the
done it.
bottom anyway, so probably it's only half.
there you go. But you've done it, and now
I've done
they're all
it,
saying,
yeah,
Are the
yeah.
brakes still working?
The brakes are still working, yeah.
Which is also quite important when you've got a kid to worry about.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah, it can be useful. Yeah. So you feel proud of yourself.
Yeah, actually, and the place I took it to, this isn't like a promo for them because I did pay.
How much did
to
they
get
pay you?
Yeah. But I think they were, what were they called? All right tyres. But the service I got was amazing. And it really, sometimes you go to these places, it's quite an intimidating experience, especially when you don't know what's going on. But they're one of the few places I've been to where they actually sort of put me at ease. And were like, don't worry, sort it. All good.
But if you need a left tyre, you've got to go to their sister company.
Oh, wow, that's good. Jack, you should have come up with that. You were the king of the one-liner. What are you doing? You're
Wake
sleeping
up,
over
Jack.
there. Wakey.
I'm taking it easy today. Don't worry.
Right. When we have a special guest, as today, I like to ask said special guest to tell us a bit of a crazy story that they've had, young life or recently or during filming or TV work, whatever. So I would like to open up that question to you, Ed. What's happened in your life? It doesn't really need to be car related, just something that you would tell a mate in a pub and just say, You never guess what happened to me, Dave.
I don't know any Daves. No, I do. He's in Australia. No, it's a hi Dave in Australia. I guess I got two, but they're sort of fire related.
Oh.
So it's actually in my book, which is here, available in paperback as we speak.
There you go.
So anyway,
That's your one and only promo.
Yeah, sorry.
We will start
From
charging.
me, you guys also have to push it because I need to sell them all. Basically, I got a warehouse full of them. That's why I had to buy this place. So basically, back in the day, I used to make a couple of quid, at the weekend, basically scrapping vehicles because it was really good money for a while. And so I'd take them down to the scrapyard and whatever. And one day, we were playing around. I think it was a Jaguar or a Rover. I think it was a Jag. And I've been cutting bits and pieces off it with the gas axe, just trying to get all the bits I wanted to keep for later. So I did it the night before. I figured that way all the fires will have gone out. It's all good. So it's fine. So everything was nice and safe. Strapped it down. The next morning, bright and early, went down to the scrapyard. Kind of roll. You had to kind of reverse back in on the trailer and then reverse into the space. And then the guy gets the grab and then picks it up and then sort of smashes it and turns it on its back and tries to pull out the petrol tank and stuff. So he did all that. But as he did that, unfortunately, of course, I hadn't actually drained the tank because back in the days when that wasn't as important. and so he pulled the tank out and, of course, it burst. But then, of course, some of the embers from the day before were still going strong, and suddenly the entire yard exploded in a ball of flame.
Bloody hell!
And I was like, I've just killed a guy. This is terrifying, And then it was awful. But then it was amazing. Without even blinking, the guy just kind of picked up the grab. It was like an extension of himself. He picked up this massive drum of water. I mean, it's huge, like a silo of water. Picked it up, went poof, and then put out the entire fire with this one move. So I'm guessing he must have done a few times before. And it's like, then I had to very sheepishly go into the office afterwards and say, give my money for the steal. They just go to give me that dirtiest look. They still gave me my money, but it's like, obviously, deloused the place. That was one. But more recently, we were in the sofa. We took it to California and we drove from LA to Las Vegas for the SEMA show, which was fantastic and a really, really great event. And we'd been messing around and sort of driving along, sort of just taking it nice and easy, going a little bit quicker than normal and stuff. There's only a bit of a stutter. It's a bit weird. And I felt this warmth at the back of my head. I looked around and there's a fireball coming out the back of the sofa. I was like, this isn't ideal. And so we sort of pull over and Imogen was sitting with me. She's like, shall I get out? I was like, yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. And then because it's all nylon, of course, it's all just melted. It's all on fire. It's burning. And it's just like, what are we going to do? And it kind of puts itself out.
Did you have a guy with a grabber just get a massive water slide?
Where was the guy with the crane when you need one? So luckily it all kind of put itself out. And basically a pipe had burst, which ended up plaguing us for the whole trip. But I was running 100% cooling at the time. And then it was the pipe burst right by the exhaust. It sprayed onto the exhaust, and that's what ignited it. So we were very lucky. And weirdly, we had a bolt of fur with us in the luggage. We had almost no luggage, except we had some spare fur and a couple of tools.
Yeah.
And we found a guy called Tank. Hello, Tank.
Hello,
in
Tank.
Vegas, and he saved the day. He let us use his workshop. Even ordered in some pizza and stuff. When we were there, Imogen was sewing away. I was trying to get the engine to work again. And then the next morning, we had a film shoot with Jay Leno, which was great. Not to name drop, but it was awesome. But it was that kind of panic. It's like, we just killed the car, and we've got a film shoot, a big thing, and it was great. So we drove out to the desert, and it was a wonderful day. But it was, so it was quite good fun.
Nice. Well, I don't want to name drop her either, but we filmed with Jay Leno as well. So whatever. Nice. You weren't there, Jack.
No, I wasn't there.
It's before your time. Yeah, that's why we had.
He's a good lad.
That's how you got it. That's how you had access.
Yeah, that's why we had actual celebrities back then.
You've got to scrape the bar every once in a while.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you are filming with us again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For people who haven't seen, we actually did a video. When was that? About a year ago.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah, living with the 90-mile-an-hour sofa.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun. Really sketchy. Still number one most sketchy thing I've ever been a passenger in or anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It was disgusting.
Oh, wait till I finish the trolley.
Yeah, talk to me about the trolley, actually.
Well, years and years ago, it's for the Jackass premiere, actually. We built a giant shopping trolley. And then the idea was just to roll the guys in at Leicester Square for the film sort of launch. And it was, we did it in a couple of weeks. It was insane because the time pressure was ridiculous. We built the basket in 24 hours without stopping. And there's some guys over in Woking who actually made all the tubes up for us. So basically I had to borrow a shopping trolley from a supermarket, and then I just kind of copied all the the dimensions. So I put it all into the CAD and then kind of started getting all the pipes made and just welded the whole thing up. And originally it was electric and it was a bit pants because the motors were a bit small. Then I went to a motorbike engine with a hydraulic drive and that was still a bit pants because we had 18 gears. So now I'm going to go back to electric. So it'd be maybe one of the things that we film, maybe, we'll see how it goes, and actually try and get it street legal again because we've got a sporty number plate for it and stuff. T20 LEY. And we've got, which is on retention, has been forever. But I just think, but it's quite mad. So it's 3.5 meters tall. So it's literally 3 times the size.
Yeah, this is the USP of the trolley. Everyone's probably been thinking of a trolley with
Little
an engine,
tiny
thinking,
trolley.
"Oh wow," but no, it is massive.
It's huge. So and basically I did it to my kind of scale. So if I wear a romper suit, I look like the 3-year-old you normally plonk in the seat. But you face the wrong way because obviously you can see where you're going.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any wobbly wheels because obviously that would be kind of dangerous. So yes, it's going to be good fun. So that's one of the many things. But we'll have to go out on that when we get it strictly legal.
Will it actually fit in your workshop here?
It will fit in the workshop. It might not fit in a McDonald's.
Do you have to put
Oh
do you have
yes.
to put a huge pound into it?
That's a great idea. I like that. But we're going to have loads of kind of cool products and stuff inside the basket to sort of bigged up just to hide all the bits that make it run.
That's cool.
And nowadays with the batteries and stuff, obviously we can actually get that into a smaller space. So that should be good fun.
It's going to be like Alex is sitting in a little prison. isn't it?
Oh yeah. You're making my head go in all different directions now. Anyway, let's move on now to a little bit of car advice. And Ed, if you don't know, we get people to send in their stories or ask questions.
Okay.
So we usually answer questions
Okay.
like car advice. So Ethan, take it away. This one's submitted by PJ.
He says, "Hi guys," and Ed. Looking for
He didn't. No, he didn't. It just
He
says
did,
hi,
he
guys.
did, he
No,
did.
look, Ed, have a look. Your
say
name
hi,
is not
guys.
there.
I'm not even
Well,
mentioning.
Why does he lie?
How are they going to know?
That's because it's in the bath.
I'm trying to be inclusive.
You got to be inclusive. You are in the bar.
Yeah,
you are the
right,
least inclusive here.
Looking for some car advice and would love to hear your suggestions. I currently own an FN2 Civic Type S GT. Yes, the Civic that looks like a UFO from a bad sci-fi movie. But I'm hankering after a sports coupe that will also be a reliable daily. I'm limited by the fact I need some space behind the front seats for the dog, so that rules out 2-seaters. I absolutely love the 996 generation Porsche 911, but these are at the very top end of my budget, and I'm put off by the many issues this generation of 911 can have. I also like the GT86, but I know these are slow, and I don't want to go down the modification route in order to get enjoyment from the car. I've also considered a high mileage Jag XK, but I'm put off by the gas guzzling V8 being the only engine option. What would you guys buy if you were in my shoes? To make things more difficult, I anticipate the E46 3 Series Coupe might be a recommendation, but they're not quite different enough. Your thoughts would be greatly appreciated, even Ethan's.
Oh.
P.S.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. I've seen it. Big up Farnham. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or Nam, as we locals also call it. Ethan, were you aware of the rumor that the brick tap tunnel in the back wall of the Cobbett pub garden supposedly leads to a secret gentleman's club beneath the A31 called the Glory Hole?
Hey.
Yes,
Yes.
I am, because me and Ed started it.
Wow. All right. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Do you think estate cars count?
No, he wants a coupe, doesn't he? He wants something.
But if he's got a dog,
Yeah, this is,
what I'm thinking is because you could obviously go into the Audi realms. Do you know?
I'm
Because then you
going
get an
down into
economical,
Audi.
powerful vehicle.
Yeah.
And that's quite cool. But even way back, I know there's about 6 of them made, I think. There was a Vauxhall Carlton
Yes.
type thing. But there was one year, and I forgot what year, it was 90-something, and it was super sleek and sexy. I mean, I don't normally ever call a Vauxhall sexy. but this particular model, and I forgot what it was a GS something or whatever, but it was very special. And I think if you could find one of those, it'd be very unique, plenty of space, and it was very sporty.
Oh.
So I don't know.
But we don't know what it's called.
No, so there is
good
that
luck
small-
finding it.
Yeah, but you'll know when you
Yeah,
find
no.
it. You'll know.
So a Vauxhall from Ed. Wow, that's low. That's really low. were you going to go Peugeot 406 Coupe next?
No.
I'm going to say Audi TT. I know I've bitched about them for the
But
past
it's only got
many
2
months.
seats.
No,
What do
it's-
you mean?
2 seats behind. Coupe
No,
in the coupe.
not real ones.
Yeah, but he's got the dog. He can just shove the dog there. I can put my dog in the seat in the back.
What, your little lap dog
No.
in the handbag? I think the. No, well, okay, but I think. Yeah, I just think he's obviously in that time of life where he's gonna want a bit more space. So when he starts buying antiques and all that kind of stuff, he's gonna want the extra hatchback. So he needs to go away from the coupe and go for the estate.
I feel like you're talking about yourself now. Jack, what do you reckon? What should he?
This dog's really throwing a spanner in the works, isn't it?
Yeah, but it could be a little. Let's go medium-sized dog. Let's say.
Let's go Great Dane and play it safe.
He could always change the dog to suit the car.
True.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, what are you thinking, Jack?
Do you know what, the TT is a great shout? Is it sporty enough though?
Oh yeah, come on, 1.8T.
But it's not very unique either.
Nah, true.
Oh.
There you go.
Well, it is if it's working.
Yeah, true.
Shall we come back to you?
Come back to me because this is a real tricky one.
All right. I'm getting a lot of weird background noise.
What's that?
Is it raining?
It's raining.
Wow.
That's proper rain, isn't it? Apologies, everybody.
For
Yeah,
everyone
sorry.
who can hear
Well,
some
it's raining on
static.
Jack's parade. That was a poor answer. The gods have spoken.
Just
Get to the stage.
We're going to just crack on with the rain.
Yeah.
It's quite nice. It's like
nice.
it's like having the sea.
Yeah. It's
Or
also
waterfall.
really annoying if you're just listening to it on a podcast. You go, what's happening,
Yeah.
guys? It is the rain.
Sorry.
It's relaxing white noise. Let's call it that.
All right, okay. Ethan, what do you reckon? Have you got any...
I've got an idea. I mean, it doesn't fit a lot of his criteria, but
is it a Sport KA?
it's not. I'm thinking Fiat Multipla.
No.
What?
Because,
Okay.
well, they've got a partner as well. He can have him, his partner, and the dog all in the front,
Wow.
and then he's got even more space behind, like van amount of space.
No, actually, I'm going to take that and run with it. What about
Yes.
the Renault Avon team and all those? That era, they had like four. I forgot what they called. There was the Avon team. There was the Megan, the first one, Megan, whatever, and anyway, it's a silly joke. Well, there was a couple. There's like four things in that range. There'd be one that would be perfect. But the thing about them is they are super unique, and being Renault, and they were going to be kind of light, probably reasonably sporty.
V6
So
as
that
well,
might
you
be,
can get in
yeah, well, there we go.
those.
Yes,
3 litre
that would be
V6s,
quite
yeah.
cool. So that might be a way just another curveball.
We've gone rogue with this, aren't we? Just suggesting anything. Ethan's on multiple.
Because we haven't got a good answer. That's like we've
How about a
failed.
Z3 Coupe?
That's actually not a bad
Yeah,
shout.
you got some space in the back there.
There you go, PJ. Z3 Coupe or a Multipla. You choose. They're both as good as each other.
I'm just thinking about it's a bit old school, and I think it is a coupe of sorts. Not really, but it was the Lexus, the LS 400, because you can get it for about £1.
An LS400.
Yeah.
The big saloon.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Not even nearly a
Well, if
coupe.
you cut the
they're
boot
cool,
off,
though.
you've got the boot is
Yeah,
big enough
yeah.
for about a couple of kennels, frankly. But if you cut that off, then it is a coupe, right?
Okay.
And it's got a big V8, and you've got so much legroom, which is obviously something that's dear to my heart. so I think you could do a little bit of a custom work on that. It'd be job done.
Okay, so if PJ buys it, can he bring it to yours and you'll do the work for him?
Sure.
Considering it was your idea.
Yeah, fair enough. And depending on how much work or how much I get paid, depends on how good the job is.
Yeah.
Half an hour job done. Guillotine.
I would actually like to see that.
It would be kind
That would
of
be
cool.
good.
We should maybe think about that.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
we've actually got quite a lot of history, modifying cars. We had an Amiga. I'm actually going to bring this up a bit later. Amiga estate, turned it into a lovely pickup truck.
Okay.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
More on that later.
Wait, I've got an idea. Fiat Coupe. The clue's in the name.
Coupe.
Whatever. I'm American. No, not at all. But I've been tainted by the Americans. No, so a Fiat Coupe is it's a really cool looking car. I think it's a bit more generous on space than say a Mini or something
Yeah.
other coupe. So I actually might take back everything I've said about estate cars and go down that road because
I love a Fiat Coupe. Yeah. 20 valve turbo, 5-cylinder goodness.
We're getting away from the Multipla a bit here, though. That's the only.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
that
good.
was
That's
the
what we
plan.
want to be doing. Yeah.
Is that not still the number one though? And then the Coupe could be the second choice, maybe, PJ?
The good thing about the coupe is that it's come up a couple of times now when we've been
has
given
a lot,
advice.
yeah.
Is this the ultimate car?
It could be.
Wow, we need to. Well, that
No,
face.
no.
What about
It
if we
answers
put
a lot of questions,
If we
though.
put the coupe engine into the Multipla, and then you definitely do have the ultimate car.
Or the Multipla engine into the coupe.
Oh, even better. Yeah, 1.9
Or you can put the
JTD.
Multipla into a scrapyard and then go. No, okay.
I think those are lots of really good.
I think it's a golden advice. I don't know. I'm sure that helps.
PJ, I would also say 20 valve coupe. Let us know how you get on.
Yeah.
Anyway, Before we continue, I want to give you guys a reminder about the Hot Wheels Virtual Legends Tour that will be streamed on the Hot Wheels Facebook page with special celebrity guests. Remember, the best bit is that you guys can enter your car for a chance to become a Hot Wheels diecast. So if you want to enter your car or nominate someone, all you need to do is shoot a quick video of your car, upload it onto YouTube, and then send the link to Hot Wheels. You'll find all the information on how to shoot your video in the description below. Anyway, let's crack on. Every week, we ask you guys to send us in some questions for our celebrities. And this week, we have Edd China. So you guys have actually asked some questions. So Ed, if it's all right with you, I'm going to fire through some questions.
Okay.
The first one is from Alex. It's me.
Oh.
It wasn't that I was short on questions, it's just I wanted to be number one.
Okay, fair enough. You're always number one.
Thank you. Oh, thanks. And Alex says, it's very nicely written as well. When is the Mark II sofa car coming?
That is a very good question.
Thank you.
Sorry, that's a very good question, Alex. Thank you very much for the Well, I don't know. It's been coming ever since I did the first one. I've been thinking, right, next year I'm going to come and make the second one. But I mean, we've got some styling friend of mine, Jim. Hello, Jim.
Shout out to Jim.
Absolutely, James Eddie. He's done some amazing. He's a fantastic designer actually, and he does some really, really lovely renderings and stuff. In fact, some of the ones around the building are from him. Basically, he sort of took my ideas and kind of like just managed to sculpt them into something really rather lovely. So I've kind of got a much more aerodynamic looking sofa. It's got to have to be electric. I think that's the right. It should be amphibious. I think, which is obviously making it harder to make. So probably that's what I'm doing psychologically is never ever getting it. But it would be. And there's a guy. I don't know if you see. There was a lot of video going around with a chap who's made one out of a parasending. He made like a parasail.
Yes, I've
sort of
seen
thing.
that. Yeah.
So
that looks so sketchy.
It does. Well, it does. But I think he's obviously got some confidence there. The fact that the TV's working, I quite like. I appreciated that. So I think. It's going to have to be a whole, we're going to have to go up to 13, not just 11, to make this really work. But I think it's definitely on the cards. And in fact, there's some old TVs around, and that's sort of part of that.
One right behind you.
There we go, exactly that. Cool. So it's really, really lovely. Little Bush TV, very, very, it's a design classic, actually. In fact, the other one, there's a slightly earlier one, which is even sexier. And so what I was going to do is take that.
TV porn, right? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to scan it in. We're actually, with a laser scanner, we're actually then going to sort of stretch or manipulate it in the CAD, and then actually then put an iPad or something inside, so that then you can actually have your sort of your sat nav, you can have your apps, you can watch TV, all that kind of stuff on the sofa. There's going to be a lot more sofa goodness in the Sofa Mark II, but I've got no idea when it's going to happen. But maybe in the next couple of decades.
I think
watch this space.
Are we also thinking leather, or are we going to stick with the cloth?
I think, well, it got changeable covers, but I mean, when I first built it, the whole point was to try and capture the kitsch nature of the British living room, from the 50s to the 70s, really. And so when I did that, animal print was so not fashionable. And I think it's entirely because of me and the sofa that animal print came back. But I think beyond that, I think a bit of leather would. I mean, the Clarkson version would be kind of black leather and chrome, probably.
Yeah.
But then, if you go down, obviously that's the idea with the sofa. You can have your personality in there. So we'll see. But I mean, if it's real, it might have to be pleather to keep the vegans happy. But also, real leather doesn't work so well in the sun if it's out there all the time.
True, very
You've
true.
got a lot of treatment, whereas the pleather, can maybe last a bit.
You don't want your ass to stick to it as well, do you?
Oh, that's true.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so that's where the fur is better, because like in California, it got very hot.
Especially if you're wearing assless chaps.
Yeah.
Which I imagine you do quite a lot.
Not on the sofa.
Right, Raznam asks, and this is a question that I don't know, 50, 100 people have you asked as well. What's the worst car you've ever worked on? This could be quite controversial.
That's different to ever owned, I guess. That's interesting. I think the most disappointing was the DeLorean. Just because it had
Shout out to Colin first, because he's just bought one.
He has, fool. But,
You idiot. Right, we're going to use that little bit as a social cut.
The thing is, it was one of those cars that, because of Back to the Future, obviously, and everything else, I was totally in love with it. I always wanted one. When we got one on the show, and that was the best bit about Wheeler Dealers, is actually getting to play with all those cars that you really wanted to as a kid. And of course, we got to pretty much choose what we got to work on. So that was amazing. And it was so disappointing. And it looks amazing. It's got this wonderful stainless steel body, far too much plastic stuck onto that. So that was the first problem. But then also the rusty mild steel chassis, it's like, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
It's no good. And also the pants engine from the Renault, unfortunately, again, with the Volvo Renault disaster. It was just everywhere you went was difficult. But also, I couldn't even fit in it. You know, they have these big chunky doors. When you stand them down, my legs had nowhere to go. So it was just depressing, I guess. And so that was quite tricky. But probably my worst car ever was a 110 Defender. I bought it for a job. We were going to tow something up to Scotland or whatever it was, and I took it out on the road. It would do 80 miles an hour. Fantastic, all great. But you know, even like just a bowl of fruit towed behind it dragged that engine down to about 50 top speed. And then if you had something really heavy like a big trailer, it went down to like 40 top speed. And then uphill, it was even worse. It was just awful and so uncomfortable, so loud, so rubbish. It had to go. It was awful. So,
It didn't last long then.
no, but I still like a Land Rover, which is bizarre. They always go wrong. Maybe I just like giving myself work.
You've got one outside, don't
We've
you?
got a full-size Range Rover that's replaced my other full-size Range Rover that blew both of its head gaskets. Well, it was just shy of 250,000 miles.
Really?
So fair play, but we'd had already changed 3 turbos and all kinds of other stuff. So if you like spending money, that is the car for you.
And if you don't like spending money, then buy an Audi A4 1.9 PD, because the one that Jack's rolling around in at the moment has got 545-ish.
That is impressive.
47 now.
547.
With the same engine, same interior,
Yeah,
same
yeah,
wheels.
Same exhaust, same turbo.
It is sweet. It is
That is
excellent
really
car.
great.
Sweet as a nut,
It
mate.
is. Actually, we need to give that thing some love soon because it definitely deserves it.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
That's good.
Take it to scrapyard.
Yeah.
No, we won't do that. Right, next question from Kane. What's the best roadside repair you've done to get you back on the road? That's a great question.
Well, that's a fantastic question. I've had a lot to do with, I guess. So those best repairs are when you have no resources at all.
So the funny thing, when we were filming with the sofa car,
Yeah.
when we got to McDonald's,
Oh, yeah.
it broke down
Oh,
and you
come
had
on.
to fix it there as well.
I did, yeah. No, there was a dodgy fuse holder, actually. It was what caused that in the end. But, I mean, the sofa, I've done a lot of miles on the sofa. I've been to a lot of places. I mean, I think once I was going down, it was down in the south of France, and it had a fuel injection mini engine in it, and it just completely cut out. And I'd made a little trailer to go on the back. It was like an extrusion of the wings. It was quite cool. So it was like an armchair without the top bit. And I had spare tyres, jacks, all this kind of stuff, all the tools. And basically the fuel pump, I'd sort of shortened to get into the fuel tank, or lengthened rather, just to get it, because it was tall rather than squat. And it just fell apart over all the way down. So I had to kind of cobble that together. But I think probably the best one most recently was, again, when we were in California, we drove also, having gone to Vegas and had all that fun, we then drove from LA to San Francisco, just so I could go down Lombard Street, the wiggliest street in the world, and then drove back down again. On the way back, we broke down a lot, only just because we had this problem with overheating. There was a problem with the head. And we drove down, and yet again, the same pipe I actually had caused the fire had broken again, and we're at the side of the road, and we were like, what are we going to do? And it's in the middle of nowhere, and this chap turns up. Well, loads of people blowing past, and this chap turns up, Jesse, as it turned out, and he looked a little scary, covered in tattoos. This old pickup truck, just stuff everywhere, full of trash, but. And he was such a lovely guy, and he came up to help. So he just stopped to say his mum had seen him and said, "Oh, you should go and help them out," and whatever. So he popped over, and he said, "Look, anything in the car that works for you." Because I was looking around, because basically the pipe had burst. It was like a little plastic joiner between these two rubber bits, and because it had burst on that seam, of course, then the coolant had gone everywhere. So we had a little bit of drinking water left. It was like, okay, so we could sacrifice that to get us to the next town, and we were quite away from the next town. So I was like, okay, we could do this, but I need to know it's going to stay there. So I was looking for pebbles or even a beer bottle that I could smash the neck off to actually try and join the pipe together again. So and then this guy turns up, fantastic. So we have a little rummage around, and then he's like beer cans and all this kind of stuff in there. And then there was this kind of like it was like a sleeve for a bolt, maybe like to bolt like a roll cage in or something, or a shock absorber or whatever. And it was the perfect size. I mean, literally, it could not have been any better to go inside the plastic thing. So I basically put that in, clamped it all together. We had a couple of Jubilee clips. We clamped it back up again, filled the water up, and it worked a treat. So he saved the day. So thank you, Jesse. That was epic.
Amazing.
And I got to the next village, and next town, we spent probably 6 hours outside on O'Reilly's or whatever it is, like a Halfords, just buying bits to make it better and sort it all out. So that was a good little fix, actually. But it's those ones that are better.
Is that fix still there?
Well, actually, I completely repaired it and then some. So, then once you had the resource of an entire store, right, what can we fix on this? So actually, I put in we managed to get hold of like an expansion tank. The problem was, once we got rid of all the 100% coolant, because that doesn't really expand and shrink much, we then needed an expansion bottle to accommodate the water, which I didn't have. So, of course, that's why I had to start plumbing all that stuff in or whatever. And then, again, those guys were really helpful, and it was great just to be able to sit outside. And we were there till the store shut pretty much. And then, of course, it was dark. And then was that thunder and lightning, or was it just making noise? Sorry.
Was that a combine?
We're about to get mown down.
Yeah, smash through the wall. James, this is a funny one as well. When you stand next to Alex, does it feel like you're standing next to a hobbit?
Well, that's a bit unfair
Thank you, Ed.
because your feet are quite small.
How we laugh.
More like a borrower.
Shut up.
No, I think it's just like Alex is far away.
Yeah, it's
so
just-
I'm full size.
it's
So I'm like
perspective.
the kind of like. Well, I wouldn't say the norm, but I'm like kind of the exemplar of the race, if you know what I mean. So this is the height you would want to be if you were going to be fully human. Alex is more like a kind of a bijou version of that for useful to getting into difficult spaces. You being a racing driver, I would probably have to be the car lift.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I can fit into loads of cars, so yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Alex is making himself as wide as possible to counteract.
Alex has got some. The thing is, I'd lose in a fight, you know, because you've got. Some
I
vodka.
would go for your ankle so hard. I really would. You wouldn't stand a chance. Right, let's move on from my height. I've had it my whole life. Elliot asks, do you,
Even when you were little.
right, done. Elliot asks, do you hope to one day have your own TV show?
He's asking me or you.
Well, he's not asking me. It's about you. It's the Ed Show.
Well, I think, yes, it's going to happen. I mean, we're just basically working on it. That's one of the things we've been doing through lockdown, I guess, is just knuckling down and working out we've got loads of ideas for different shows. And the trick is, obviously, as the world changes, you've got to try and keep up with that and also try and sort of push things forward a little bit. So yeah, watch this space or that one as well. We're just sort of working on some funding.
Do you need a hobbit to be part of your plans?
Well, actually, I was just thinking, because you should have a show. Why not?
All right.
What would it be? What would you do?
Hook us up.
Yeah. Come on, Ed. I mean, you're the producer here. I always wanted Ed to be my daddy. It's happening. Oh yeah, we'll talk shop later.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get our people to talk to each other and work something out. But no, definitely, it's going to come.
Excellent. Yeah, excited for that. Kieran says, have the police ever taken a dim view of any of your builds?
If they ever not. Well, I think when we were in California, we did meet almost all of the officers of the law. We did actually get stopped by an actual Beverly Hills cop in Beverly Hills, and
Wow.
I got given a citation as well for not having an exhaust entering or exiting the building.
Was it the guy who makes the really cool noises? Did he do all of those?
He didn't know, but he was called Officer Chase, which I thought was quite nice.
Shout out Officer Chase.
Yeah. So it's quite funny, brilliant. Actually, they actually put it up on their social media, and they fuzzied out my face, but I was wearing one of my t-shirts with my face on. So I thought it was brilliant. So that was quite great. So it was a good gag, but that was quite good fun. But I mean, I think the thing is, particularly in America, obviously, I mean, being a police officer is a terrifying prospect. I mean, everybody's got knives and guns and whatever, and so when some yahoo from England comes up with this ridiculous thing that's clearly to challenge the law, of course they're going to have a look. And we actually got thrown out of was it Laguna Beach? I think it was, yeah. So which is quite funny. They just said they stopped me and mentioned Colin. Actually, it's quite funny. He says, "Oh yeah, it's just like one of Colin Firth's vehicles."
Oh wow!
And then said, "Don't ever come back here again." But I mean, it was all in good humour. I think that's the thing. They've all been pretty groovy. But I mean, it was the same thing when I first built them over here. It's a long time ago now, but then we probably met every single one of the members of the Met Police, and they weren't always quite so easy because again they're in a more high pressure job and they're just people. So if they're having a bad day, then of course you get it. If they're having a good day, then it's okay.
Yeah. Well, there we go. From Toby, for someone with little mechanical experience, where's the best place to start and what tools should I invest in?
I'm going to listen to this one.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Get out of the bath. You want to stand up for
I'd
this one.
start with the easy stuff. I mean, like change a tyre, change a wheel, whatever it is. That's the very, very first place to go and get used to servicing your vehicle, and then
Ethan.
get yourself
both,
a
I
bunch of friends, or get in a club where you actually have like-minded people, because there's always going to be somebody who's done the same problem. I mean, I learned most of what I know by asking really annoying questions of other people. So some guys up the road, Will and whatever up the road. And they were building a kit car, and so I was just watching and hang out on Saturday and Sunday, whatever, just see them sort of do what they're doing. I then start and bought myself a welder, and then they go, oh yeah, look at this, son, this is how you do it. They put a big hole in their exhaust. I would then fill it up and learn. So you just kind of learn the hard way. But I think get a couple of easy jobs under your belt, which I believe you already have, and that gives you the confidence. Exactly, so that gives you the confidence to go a bit further and go a bit further, and also. Don't ever be worried about asking for advice. If you get to a point where you think, I really, like if you're playing with the brakes and you don't know what you're doing, it's like, it's fair enough to try and change the pads or whatever, or change the disc. But if you get to a point where you're like, I'm not sure about this, then it's okay to stop and ask someone else. And that's how you're going to learn. And I think it's kind of, by being curious and asking those questions, that's the best way. So I think really start on the easy stuff and then sort of then start taking off. I remember the first bit of welding I ever did properly. We did I did a friend's battery tray in his Volkswagen Beetle. They always rot out, and so I just did the patch there. And then the next thing I did was make a beach buggy. So I actually cut like 2 chassis together, a big chevron, welded them together, and it held together until it was scrapped, basically. So clearly it worked, but it was just gaining that confidence. It's like, well, if it can hold a battery, it can hold a car.
I could take over the world.
Exactly.
How do you think mechanics feel? Say I did the brakes, got halfway through it, got stuck. How would a mechanic feel then if I passed it on to them? Like,
yeah, no, but it's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, they're not going to have a problem with it, and you might be slightly embarrassed by it, and they might even rib you for it. But at the end of the day, it's much cleverer to actually get it done properly than it is to kill yourself or your family or anything else. So I think that's never an issue. But also, let's face it, most people want to help other people out. So if you can just say, even if you've got like a local garage, and you just say, look, I'm about to do something stupid. I want to learn for myself. I want to have a bit of a play. You could get things like the Haynes manuals and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they're less useful for more modern vehicles because I guess they've not made quite as many as they used to back in the day. They were really much more informative. But also, it's easier to work on stuff when you've got to plug boxes in to try and get the computers to work or talk to you. That's a bit harder. But certainly, things like bodywork, things like sort of just doing things like the brakes or the mechanical, the physical stuff. I definitely have a go. But I think find someone who can help you out first, and even go and ask for some tips and say, look, I'm about to do this. If it goes wrong, are you cool to come and help me out? Or if I bring it down or whatever. I mean, because that's the other trick is don't do it with your daily driver. Because it's like kind of, that's how I learned my Beetle, my first car. I was always taking it apart at the weekend and then needing to go somewhere on the Monday. And so, I've been in a lot of places with no doors on or the windows missing.
Do you think that helped though? Like the pressure of, I need this, so I need
I guess. You learn new swear words from yourself. But also, I was using the right tools for the job. I mean, that was the first thing I learned on the Beetle. My dad's, when my mum and dad had minis, and so they had imperial socket sets and stuff or tools, and of course I was trying to use them, skanking those instead of on my metric car. So that was the first thing. After you've shaved off most of your knuckles, you know what? I'm going to go and buy a 13mm spanner, and then you go again. So that's what I tended to do is build up you don't need a massive full set of tools to start with. Just buy the tools you need for that job, and make sure that you invest in invest wisely. I mean, there's some stuff where there's some like proper chocolate spanners, but you can also get some pretty reasonable ones for reasonable money. So you don't have to go nuts for it. You don't have to go and get Snap-on or Mac or whatever. But then I think it's just you buy that right tool for the job, and that makes the job go better. And then you'll learn a bit more, and you'll get confidence to do the next bit. So it's easy.
Yeah. I would say in terms of tools as well, you want to get yourself a decent jack, a couple of axle stands, and also Halford's professional tool set. I think they're about 150 quid, and they've pretty much got everything you need for pretty much every job. And that will get you pretty far.
I think it's like you've used Tang for years and years and years again, and if you want to go a bit more money, then you can get a massive stack with loads of tools you don't even need. So.
And here we are. Christian, I don't know, he might be from Norway, perhaps.
Could be.
Is there ever going to be a second episode of Edd China's Garage Revival?
That's a good question.
Yes.
And the answer is yes. If you go to Google search, the thing that comes up is second episode. So clearly we need to do that. So that's one of the things we're working on. I mean, it's a fun show. We went to Norway just because we have some friends out there, and it seemed like a really nice story to follow. And the idea is to try and go around the world, but also to do things more than just cars. So we'll do bikes and boats and whatever. So it'd be quite fun just to try and do people's projects that have been stuck, because we all get stuck on stuff. Like the second sofa, whatever. There's always something that you haven't got around to doing, or the family got in the way, or whatever. So there'll be lots of interesting stuff to look at. And I think we've had so many stories. We asked for people to send in videos for their sort of for help, basically. And we've had so many really great stuff from all over the world, which has been fantastic. So it's definitely going to happen. Again, we're just trying to get all the funding in place and get it sorted. But I don't know how long it's going to take. Maybe it'll be ready by next autumn. Let's see what happens.
That's cool.
Not this autumn, next autumn.
I'm going to have a bathroom that needs doing soon. Can I submit that?
Yeah, if it drives.
Oh, there's a challenge. And finally from Leah, do you miss working on wheeler dealers, and do you think you'd ever make a show like it again?
Well, I think Garage Revival is probably as close as we'd go. Because I think the idea of fixing old stuff up is always going to be, it's always going to have a longevity about it. And I think, clearly the audience really love to see how stuff works. So definitely we have to do that. I think it was really fun, living in California for a bit and stuff. And it's been great actually to work on so many different cars. We did 135 cars over all that time. And as I said before, it was like there were so many great cars that I really wanted to work on, and then you find out you really don't ever want to work on them again. So, but that's a really great privilege, because, I get to find out how all these manufacturers have solved effectively the same set of problems. They all do it in a different way. The French are slightly more quirky than the Germans, who are very matter of fact, but do it really well and whatever.
They screwed up the TT though. That's a disgusting car to work on.
Well, but that's the way of modern. It was probably really easy to put together. So that's the thing. So I think that bit I kind of miss a little bit, but I guess that's what Garage Revival will replace. So I'll get to work into the midnight hours again, and then just to get stuff done.
That's great. Well, I've seen a little bit of rust appearing on my MX-5, so we might need to cut those cells out again.
I don't think you'll ever stop rust on an MX-5, though. Just let it happen.
Put it in a museum.
Yeah.
The dry one.
No, it would find a way to rust. Ethan, are you all right in the bath there? You doing all right?
Yeah, I mean, I could do with just jumping out and shaking my legs a bit, because...
Okay, let's carry on. We're going to move on now to things that grind my gears. Right?
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I know. We like
I
this.
have missed it a little bit.
Have you?
Yeah, in a weird way.
Okay.
What's the matter with you?
Now you need to get one of those special pedals like guitars have, just to give it a little bit of reverb.
Oh, yeah. All right. So every week, Ed, we get people to send in stuff that really just annoys them about cars or people on the roads and stuff. This one is submitted by Floyd. And Jack, do you want to read this one?
Yeah, I can read it out. Hello, lads, and special guest if there is one.
No, not this week.
No. I just wanted to let you know something that grinds my gears. You'll be car shopping online, and adverts will have a price on them for maybe 1,000, and then you'll scroll through the ad, reading every detail, only to get to the bottom and see that it's offers of £5,000. Why do people do this? I get that they're trying to get more views on the advert, but it's bloody annoying and a real waste of time. What are your views on this? Thanks, Floyd.
This happens quite a lot, especially on Facebook. You've got an advert for a car or a car part or so, and it'll say £123 or £1,000, and then it's the bottom, like he says, £2,000, no offers. And you're like, you hooked me in, and now I see the real price. It's too good to be true, but it is really, really irritating.
I think that's probably verging on illegal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Facebook though.
I think, yeah.
Nothing's
Can
illegal on Facebook.
Can you not report them and stuff?
You can, and there are probably admins on the pages where they regulate that stuff. But some of these pages,
That is,
like,
well, I think it happens
outlaws.
on all kinds of stuff. It's sort of. But I think, the trick, of course, is to modify one's own behaviour and to actually check that the bottom. Look, see what the butler did. Go to the very, very end of the story to find out before you even get involved and fall in love with the thing. You can
Ruin the story.
I thought you meant offer $5,000, and then they scroll down. And then they see that you're actually offer 1,000.
That's a good. I like that.
That's
That's what you do with window salesmen and all that kind of stuff, isn't it? Just string them along, ask them for opaque windows. And stuff. They're going to waste your Sunday afternoon.
It's like catfishing, isn't it? But with cars.
It is.
sort of, yeah.
It's not on.
It's not on,
Catfishing.
no. Yeah? Do you know what catfishing is?
No idea.
All right, explain it, Ethan.
Catfishing is...
This is still a podcast about cars.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a show called Catfish, but it was about a guy who was chatting to a lady online, and then it turned out that this person had used fake images of a different lady and made up a story. But yeah, that's what catfishing is.
Okay.
Lying.
we know.
Lying.
Yeah.
Lying.
Well, it is like, yes,
Yeah.
it's basically lying, and I think that's obviously not good. Can't be condoned. It should be punished horribly.
Wow.
By death? Oh, we're bringing back the death.
Oh, well, even just a slow, painful death. It doesn't
Yeah.
even-
Okay.
Yeah,
Just-
yeah.
just
Stop
maiming.
wasting our time.
Exactly. Well, I think that's exactly. They should be punished by absolute time wasting. They should be. I think sometimes they call it prison, but literally just make them wait in a queue for hours.
Speaking of waiting in queues, something I just wanted to bring up. Okay, in the last podcast with Johnny Smith, I ride a motorbike quite a lot. I just want to get your opinion on this.
On motorbike.
No.
Are you
No,
riding
no.
motorbike?
No is the
You're,
answer.
you're okay on this. I just want Daddy Ed to say yes, you're fine. Petrol station. Right,
Yeah.
picture the scene.
Okay.
You're at a Shell or an Esso or a Texaco. No, not Texaco. I don't like Texaco.
Okay.
There's lots of cars and there's a few pumps. And
Yeah.
there's one pump there maybe, and you're just like, I'm on a motorbike. Okay.
Yeah. You slip in.
Thank you. You're slipping because I can fill up in about 47 to 50 seconds.
You've timed it. You've timed it.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I don't even need to get off. And if I'm at a Tesco or a Sainsbury's, I can just punch in at the actual receptacle and then off on my way. Is that all right? Just to slip past a few cars and then just fill up?
I think it's tricky because because the queue is always caused by the guy in front. Do you know what I mean? Or the guy second, number 2, is always causing the queue. So that's probably a strap line. Anyway, so in a way, if none of the numpties in the queue have actually thought to go round and then reverse back in or whatever, which is the nearly decent thing to do, then I think that would probably be okay.
And if you just zip past anyway?
I think...
So you're just zipping past in front of people. And
I think that's the thing. I think you should queue. I think the thing is, you know,
we're going to have to edit this bit out.
No, I think you should take each queue on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
If it's clear that there's lots of idiots in a place that are unable to queue properly, then you should definitely take advantage of that.
Every case so far has been in my favour, so I'm just going to stick with that until I get
But then to the
punched.
rest of the audience, if you see some numpty on a motorbike cut in, just go and push him over. Done.
Yeah, spit on me and say, that was from Edd China.
Put a stick through your front wheel as you drive off.
I was wondering where that stick was going for.
That sounds quite dangerous. I don't think that should be recommended.
Right, now we have a car story submitted by Pete. And it's quite an interesting one, actually. Pete says, my story is about runaway diesels. If you don't know what this is, the short version is that if the turbo oil seal fails entirely, then the engine will start sucking its own oil through the turbo into the inlet and run happily on that. No need for any diesel fuel, and it'll continue to run even after you've removed the key from the ignition due to the new readily available supply of fuel.
Pirates used to do much the same sort of thing back in the day when they didn't have any water.
Really?
Sorry.
That was...
No, you don't think about it for a while. It's hard.
All right.
Carry on.
I'll stew on that one while I'm trying to read as well. Pete continues, this only happens to turbo diesels and obviously means death for the engine without very quick thinking on the part of the owner. The only way to stop this once it starts is to put the car in gear, dump the clutch with your foot on the brakes and stall the engine. If you have an auto, you'll need to cut off any air getting to the engine by means of blocking the intake. Unfortunately, my story is about how I learned what diesel runaway is the hard way. I was driving a courtesy car on the M50 motorway when huge plumes of smoke suddenly erupted from the back of the car. After pulling over and removing the key, the car continued to rev its tits off. I jumped out and my first thought was, if the engine won't stop, I'll rip a fuel line off and then it'll just die. So I opened the bonnet, and just as I put the bonnet on its stay, the radiator suddenly exploded with me directly in front of it. Wow. Yeah, that's painful. The experience of being forcefully showered with water at around 120 degrees isn't one I'll forget in a hurry, and watching my skin bubble and blister, I ransacked the car for water, only to come up short. A minute or so later, a passing mobile paramedic stopped in his Range Rover and put Burns blanket around me, bringing the pain from a 10 to a 6. Wow. He was an awesome bloke, and to this day, I wish I could thank him again in person. The moral of this story is that if you drive a turbo diesel car and don't know what diesel runaway is, then make sure you give it a quick Google so you know what to expect and what to do if the worst happens. I've included some photos of my chest during and afterwards as a warning of just how wrong things can go. If, like me, you are ignorant of what to do in an emergency like this. Thanks for reading, Pete. He's had a mare, hasn't he? Have you ever had anything like that, diesel runaway, or known anyone?
Well, I've had. I forget how long it was. A long time ago. We had a very simple engine. Because another problem they have is obviously that if you get lots of coke and stuff actually in the engine, you know, lots of little
Why are you
spikes
putting
of
coke
carbon.
in an engine?
There are lots of little spikes of carbon basically, and then they glow orange. So then when you turn off the engine, what can happen is a little bit more of the diesel can get in there, and then they can actually carry on igniting and then run backwards.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's quite fun. But obviously just disengage the gear. So I think that's one of the things with many things that go wrong with vehicles is often because it's a valuable thing. You know, it might cost you a lot of money. It might not even be yours. There's this tendency to think that you need to protect that over your own life, or your own self. And, you know, I had a friend years ago, we were just picking up an old car, he was on the winch, he hadn't put the ratchet on, and then he let go or whatever, and it started spinning, so he just put his arm in to stop the winch because the car was running off, and he snapped his wrist. Pretty grim, had to go to the hospital to get it all sorted. Yeah, that was not good. He got a lot of time off work, so that was but you know, and you kind of afterwards we go like, what were you thinking? He's like, I don't know. Yeah. But it seemed like a really bad thing for the car to be going off. So it's the same sort of problem. So I think, you know, if if your brakes don't work, you drive into something.
Yeah.
Like Armco, that's kind of what it's there for. Or get onto the grass verge, or that's what the gravel traps for the trucks
Or
are
a tree.
So you do have to try and, it's worth practicing that little bit of calm, that little moment. So when it's all about to kick off, or is it kicking off? I think if you have any kind of practice in just start, right, okay, how do I fix this problem? It was like when the sofa was on fire. It's kind of like, well, panicking isn't going to help. Getting out probably isn't a bad idea. And then let's just see what goes on from there. I mean, there's guys we met years ago who did the Peking to Paris, and they had this beautiful old Rolls Royce. And we're driving up a hill, and he's adding a little bit of fuel, because obviously on that, it was about 100 years old, so you have to add the timing and the fuel and stuff as you're going along. And he had a bit too much fuel, and there was a little bit of a gust and whatever. Something, it blew back, and then basically caught on fire. So then his beautiful Rolls Royce, it's worth millions, is now burning. And then he had a fire extinguisher, didn't finish. It was done, and the fire was still raging. So then he just started recording it. He thought, well, this is gone. I might as well just have the last bit. Yeah. And then a big gust of wind came. It's in the middle of Mongolia, and it blew it out. And it's like,
wow.
All right, well, now we can do something about this. So then they actually went all the way back to China, and then they went through all the scrap yards, got some wire and got other little bits and pieces, spent a couple of days just roping it back together again, and then drove all the way through Russia, got to Paris just as everybody else had got there, and they won an award for spirit of the event.
That's
they did
amazing.
So it's about having that calm, little moment of calm, but also always putting yourself first. And that comes, same as rescuing someone in a lake that's drowning or whatever. You should never put yourself at risk, in order to help someone else. It's great to be heroic and all that kind of stuff, but you need to do it safely, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But there we go. But he did. That's terrifying.
Yeah, and for a radiator to explode
that's
on
crazy.
your body. You've seen a picture here, haven't you?
It's horrible.
I mean, he's quite...
Not his body, but they're just.
Look how hairy he is as well.
Well, maybe that was shaved off. I don't know.
Oh, maybe, yeah. But as he says, if you do drive an old turbo diesel and you don't know what Runaway diesel is, then definitely look it up, because your car could explode and cause a lot of damage to you as well. So make sure you know what you're doing if and when, hopefully, it doesn't happen.
I'm terrified now.
Oh yeah. Oh, Jack. Yeah, your car is actually prime for it.
Yeah.
An old diesel.
Yeah, but even
Audi.
then, you see, basically, if you just disengage it and let it explode, standing. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing you don't think to do. Is like, if it's going, just let it go.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
if you can't stop it, it's obviously the first thing to try, but then just let it happen.
I was going to say, if you're not sure as well, just
Well,
park up
nowadays,
and stand
video
back.
it. You used to get 250 quid off the TV shows.
Oh,
now
yeah.
you get 1 million views in 30 days. Start a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Also, I'm thinking if you did have Runaway diesel at any point, Jack, and you tried to stall the car, it probably wouldn't stall because the clutch is so bad.
Yeah. I'd have to just let it go though, wouldn't I?
Yeah, I would.
You would,
If I tuck and roll, I think I'll be all right.
Always have a camera on the passenger seat.
Yeah,
as well.
so
No, I
Just
think
in
that's
case. Filming.
Yeah, but that's the amazing thing, because back in the day, again, like 20 odd years ago, when we first did the sofa, the mad thing is that a number of people had cameras like in the dashboard or in the glove box or whatever. It was amazing. Whereas now everybody's got a camera because we've all got phones. So you can capture this kind of stuff. And because you're in the business, it's footage. Everybody needs footage. So that's great.
Yeah, I'm hoping it happens now for the views.
This could be our big break. This is our big break. Right, we're going to move on now to unpopular opinion.
Can you get careful? That's my favourite one.
Is it? Yeah. Right, this has been submitted by Mathieu. I'm guessing he's, what do we think? Portuguese?
No, I think he's
Polish? Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mathieu says, here's an unpopular opinion that might not be unpopular in the end, but I know it grinds Alex's gears. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, here we go.
Saying, this car handles like a go-kart is fine.
No, it's not.
If it's a go-kart, then it'd be fine.
Exactly. Thank you. But he's got an argument here.
Okay.
It's hyperbole. No one says this actually thinking the car literally handles like a 100-kilogram motorized tub with no suspension and no diff. Everyone understands it's meant to say the car is nimble, light and tight. I know Alex is never going to agree, but people will still keep using it. Cheers, Mathieu.
Yeah, and people need to stop using it because it's not a go-kart, is it? Only a go-kart feels like a go-kart. If you want to say all those things, nimble, light and tight, why don't you just say nimble, light and tight? I mean, come on. Are you with me on this?
No, I think so. I think, it makes sense to try and describe things more colourfully if you can.
Yeah. But
Like
don't
it's
use
on
go-kart.
rails.
Like, yeah, I mean, on rails or...
That would be a train, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. If you're in a nice car interior, say it's a nice place to be. That's always something that journalists like to use a lot. So, Mathieu, Ed said you're wrong, so you're dead wrong. All right? Just forget it. Forget about it. I told you before we actually started filming, or no, at the beginning of filming, that we did a bit of a number on a Vauxhall Amiga.
Okay.
That poor
All right.
car.
Yeah, we bought it for £500, £300 more than what it was actually worth because we got screwed at the auction. I'm still sure someone was in there fiddling the numbers. I mean,
Probably the guy selling it.
it was. It must have been. It must have been.
Did you not see Jack putting his hand up?
Were you bidding against each other?
Anyway, we.
Actually, so that's a good point. While we're on
Oh.
that subject, if you actually have a mate and you go to an auction, make sure that if one of you's left-handed, one of you's right-handed, you stand the right way around so you can see when each other's bidding.
Very good. That's Ed's top tip.
Top tip.
We bought this Amiga for £500. It was it was lovely, wasn't it? 2 litre.
Oh, it was great.
It wasn't actually that one, but it was an estate, and we did pretty much exactly this. And this news report happened. I think
You got a news report.
No, this wasn't actually our
Oh,
car.
I see. Right, I was gonna say.
But yeah, BBC News, Derbyshire police shocked by van cut into pickup truck. And I looked at it, I was like, shit, that's our van.
I thought it was
Because we sold it to someone else.
Yeah.
And then I showed it to you guys and you were convinced
I
it was
thought
the
it
van
was
as
ours,
well.
Yeah.
So yeah, even the rear boot as well. That's been cut like us as well.
The Omega's been floating around the internet, hasn't it? We've been getting sent the ads. It's been on
Yeah.
obviously like Gumtree and Facebook.
Yeah.
People have been trying
Well,
to sell this thing
Simone
on.
Gertz did that to a Tesla, and she did it quite stylishly.
Oh, she did
Oh,
it very
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
so I think so the idea is not terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
the
where-
way
that's
it was
where the shooting
executed was
process
pretty bad though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
that's-
still have glass on my driveway.
Yeah, that's always
Yeah,
the thing.
no,
The trick
that's
is,
your
although
safe
it's
thing.
fun to smash the windows, you should
Yeah, it
actually
is.
just take them out.
Yeah. But it's more fun smashing a window.
Well, years ago we did. I think it was back when the lads mags ruled in the 90s. They came to our workshop once and they had this. I think was it a Metro or something. And they wanted. There was an advert. You guys are all far too young to remember this, but there's this chap. This guy in Bangladesh, I think, or India somewhere, and he basically takes this beaten up car and he panel beats it into this really lovely new car.
You don't mean the Peugeot 206, the advert?
Was that what it was? Maybe
Yeah.
it was. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. So it's been
Showing
inspiration
my
for
age
many.
now.
Yeah. It's been inspiration for many a car build, if you like. Since so these guys came down and they did that, and it's hilarious because they're all in their designer clothes and I don't want to get dirty and stuff. And they beat this thing up and they wreck it completely. And then very foolishly we thought it might be quite good just to burn it to get rid of it. But unbeknown to us, of course, obviously the fuel tank had again been leaking for some
Oh,
time,
wow.
and it was on gravel, and so basically all the fuel was actually underneath the car park, the whole car park, and so I think I might have lit it.
can see a pattern
and
emerging
you
here.
suddenly find
Yeah.
you're inside the fireball because it's gone boom, and it's like it was quite good. It did burn it quite nicely. But because then we could scrap it down a little bit, but it's probably not very good for the environment. So I wouldn't do that kind of stuff again. So I think one of the morals from that story was because we had to pick the glass out of the.
Oh, yeah.
Because some of it melted down, which was quite nice. But they'd smashed so many windows that it was just all in gravel, which was a nightmare. So we had to kind of sift through it all. So don't do that.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot of fire with your stories.
Yeah.
isn't there?
I know. The more I think about that, there's something I should look into.
Do you carry the extinguisher around with you?
Most of the time, actually, yeah. Just because you just never know. Because
Yeah.
it's like you should have. The thing is, also, it has to be in date, and you have to shake it if it's a powder one, all this kind of stuff to make sure that it works. We don't have any in here we have a few, but not proper ones. But you kind of. It's that bit where if you see a wonderful car or somebody burning away, you think you'd kick yourself for not having that with you, wouldn't you? So you might.
Now, these days, you'd get your phone out and start recording. You want that 250 quid? Right, we're going to move on again to one of my favourite sections called What Does That Do? Basically, where we show something to Ethan and then ask him what it does. So,
I have just.
Ed's got something.
I'm normally bang on the money with
Oh,
this.
yeah, normally.
Oh my word.
Right, so here, I'm going to hold it up to the camera and then I'm going to pass it down to you. I'm passing the mantle down to you. Say what you see. What are you looking at?
I am looking at a
Quite difficult
bit
to
of
describe.
flat metal that is being carved out,
Okay.
cut out, CNC'd, I guess.
Oh,
Whittled.
What is it?
the weight? What are the
Aluminium? I
dimensions?
don't know.
Taste it, smell it. Sniff it. No, seriously, you can actually you can often tell metals by just their smell. So have a sniff.
It might just catch on fire.
Potassium.
Potassium.
I don't know, what is it? Like half a pound of sugar?
Oh, okay.
Half a bag of sugar, I mean.
That's not it.
Yeah, half a pound of sugar would be half a pound.
Yeah. Half a bag of
Unless it
sugar.
was particularly light sugar.
Lots of holes. Actually, I might have an inkling.
Oh.
Something. It looks like the shape of
It's a really bad sin.
I want to say gearbox housing. Is it like a guide, or does it go onto a gearbox somewhere?
It's not bad. He's been cheating,
a
obviously.
gearbox guide.
Well, kind of. It's an adapter plate.
A gearbox.
So basically,
adapter.
it joins an electric motor to, or there's about 10 of them, but it joins an electric motor to a gearbox. So it's not bad. That's
really good. Well done, you.
Yeah.
And
You
it is
get a point for
aluminium,
that.
not potassium, but that's not bad.
Speaking about adapter plates and getting electric motors onto conventional gearboxes, how does that actually work? Because it boggles my mind that you can still row through a normal gearbox but have an electric motor.
Well, you kind of, with a lot of electric motors, you don't even need to do that. So what we did on the ice cream van is because, again, I was worried about, it's like an experiment. So the motor I use is 80 kilowatts. The diesel engine, I think, is about 130 or so normally. But of course, you don't get all the power all the time, whereas with electric motor you do. So I figured, even though it was less power, we'd probably go as fast, which we kind of did. So the interesting thing is with that is that the gearbox was just to help us accelerate. Because, again, you don't really have a power band like you do on an engine. It's a very, very narrow space. With electric motor, you've got loads, but it's still, you get the torque multiplication. So it means you get a bit more oomph when you need it. So that's why I kept the gearbox in. It also pushed the motor into a convenient part of the engine bay, so it would kind of look better and it was easier to work on. So basically, like a diesel engine, petrol engine, you're spinning a shaft. And so as long as you connect the spinning shaft of the electric motor to the gearbox in some way, it does the same thing. And with that particular conversion, I've put a clutch on as well. So I've actually got an old style clutch, like an old style flywheel. So it's one piece of metal rather than like the dual mass thing, which is off to take vibration, because of course there's very little vibration with the electric motor, or none really. And so then effectively just got that coupling. So the coupling bit's difficult because you've got all these spline shafts and stuff. So I just used bits that came out of the original gearbox from the electric motor. So I had, and of course the clutch plate also has that. So I just went for the easy option and just took the bits that were already made for me, chopped them up and modified them. And then the stuff you've been handling, the stuff that goes around the outside, just kind of holds the two together. They have to be very much in line, obviously, otherwise it all kind of makes lots of mess. But then that's where CAD comes into its own. That was water jet profile. So you actually have a jet of water with a little bit of grit in it. And it's at such high pressure that it actually cuts through metal. It could cut through probably, 6-8 inches of like a block of metal, which is amazing to think about. So when you're there with the hose washing the car, be careful, because you could cut your car off. That might be how we do the Lexus, actually. Maybe we'll just use a water. But anyway, so that's the thing. So it's kind of, it's not as hard as you think, but again, it's just breaking that big problem down to lots of small problems and go, well, how do I get that to there? I hold it there, right? Okay, and then how do I connect that to there? And then how do I get to change gears and take it?
It's very cool. So you can have an electric car while changing gears. Because I think a lot of people think electric cars got to be automatic. I don't want anything to do with it. But yeah, you're just taking out the combustion element, but you can still have fun with a gearbox.
I mean, the mad thing as well, it's a bit more Formula One-esque in as much as like that particular motor, I think, can spin at about 11,000 RPM. And there's not many car engines that do that easily. So well, I suppose more now, but back in the day, you definitely couldn't. And especially the diesel, it's like 5,000, it's redlining sort of thing. So it actually feels even more sporty because you've got this really revving. The only thing is you can't necessarily hear it revving its nuts.
Yeah.
So you might just break it.
Excellent. Well, wow. Yeah, we've been going quite a while, haven't we? It's been quite a long one. That now concludes the Car Throttle podcast. I hope that you guys have enjoyed listening to other people's stories and us ranting on, and hopefully it's going to inspire you guys to email us your tales, unpopular opinions, and anything you want to get off your chest. Let us know by emailing carstories@carthrottle.com. Before we go, Ed, what have you got coming up?
Well, I'm going to have a little bit of YouTube to do.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit of big TV to do as
Ed
well.
back on YouTube. That's going to be
cool.
awesome.
And I think, I'm going to play a bit more with the ice cream vans. I've got a lot of ice cream vans to convert actually to electric drive. And of course, the shopping trolley needs a bit of work. So yeah, I've got a busy couple of months.
You are very busy. And you've still got a few more books to shift.
Well, I have, so keep buying the books. In fact, you can read more about that little adapter plate in my book.
Can we do a book giveaway? Single book giveaway?
Let's do that. We could even sign it with somebody's name. Do you want to sign it?
Well, no, it's your book.
Okay, I'll sign it. You can give it away.
I'll sign it.
Signed Ellie Goulding.
Oh, very good.
Shall I mention it?
Yeah, you should.
I can't think we haven't spoken about it in a
No, we
while.
haven't. It's been a few episodes. So tail end of last year, I don't know if you caught wind of this, there was a story everywhere of a Royal Mail lorry pushing a man sideways down the A40 in a Golf GTI.
Wow. Is that him?
That was him.
That's me.
The funny thing is, the car next to him had Ellie Goulding in it, and she got out and apparently saved his life. This story was literally everywhere.
That's
Piers Morgan was talking
She
about
got
it
out
everywhere.
while he was driving along.
She jumped onto the lorry, Terminator style, snapped the screen.
But no, yeah.
Wow, what a story.
Yeah, crazy.
A lady
Yeah.
came out, asked if Jack was okay. Turns out it was Ellie Goulding.
Yeah.
And you
So-
even had a little combo with her on Instagram, didn't you?
Yeah, I just said thanks to her. And, she actually got back to me, which was nice of her. It was
Yeah.
good,
And then
So
you left her on
next
scene.
time, don't cause traffic. Get out of my way.
Save me
grinding my
quicker.
That's crazy.
Yeah, mad.
Wow.
Why did I get onto that? I've lost my
Because
train of
I'm
thought.
probably
Oh, we're
going to
talking
put it
about
up
book
in a few
signing.
weeks. So.
Book signing, yeah.
Yeah, famous people. That's what it is.
So, Ed, which book are we going to sign? You
Well, I
going to
think we
sign?
should probably do the hardback.
All right.
Do you not think that?
Yeah, yeah, I
Because
think
there's,
that'd be
the pictures are slightly bigger. There's lots of pictures. In fact, if I go to the end, you can see the aluminium. Well, they're in there somewhere. Anyway, you go.
I've actually read this book. It's probably one of the only books
cover
I've
to
ever
cover?
read in my life. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Because it's got pictures in it.
It's got pictures. I read the pictures. So yeah, this very book we're gonna give away. All you need to do is just leave a nice comment and subscribe to the channel, and also give Ed a follow as well. Is it at the Edd China on Instagram?
It probably is. I think it's at Edd China everywhere, pretty much. So I think it might be the Edd China on Instagram. I don't know.
Okay, at the Edd China on Instagram.
You'll work it out. I have a picture of me on it.
Yeah. And what's your YouTube channel?
It was Edd China. That's
Just
it.
Edd China. So go check that out as well. There's going to be lots more content. As for me, you can follow me on Instagram at AutoAlex.
I'm at Jack W. Joy.
I'm at Ethan Smale. You can follow Car Throttle at Car Throttle everywhere. Maybe MySpace this time. We might be on
No,
MySpace.
Come on.
Are we
You
on
doing
MySpace?
that? I don't know.
What is MySpace?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We might be on MySpace.
Well, we are where it's at. That's the thing.
Yeah. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this podcast.
So one more thing.
Oh, what? We need a van.
No, we're not looking.
We need a trailer.
We need a trailer. We're looking this week. We're looking for a trailer. So if you're selling a trailer,
Or giving one away.
then
Ed.
or
I've
giving
not.
one-
I've
yeah.
Why would I give
spotted
away-
the DM. I've spotted a really tasty trailer in this
Yeah,
unit.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we could
There's
have
a
that
fellow
one.
out
Yeah.
there. We'll talk to Brian James. They're kick ass. They're
Yeah?
great. They're really great guys. Yeah.
Okay.
They might lend you one.
Shout out to Brian
What do you want a
James.
trailer for? Do you want? Are we talking about an advert for a movie, or are we talking about actually?
No, we just want to buy more crap cars and just not have
To
to
be
have
honest,
an
actually,
MOT.
that was one of my great, terrible ideas or mistakes back in the days. Is like when I bought my own car trailer, I ended up with so much stuff I didn't need.
Oh, sounds amazing.
Yeah.
No,
I can't
it's-
wait
it's-
for that.
It's a great disaster.
So yeah, we also want a van. We're not shouting out van this time. But I've been
Van and trailer.
I've been speaking to someone about a van. He lives in Portugal.
Now be careful
Yeah.
about the van
Oh.
because the van might not be butch enough to pull the trailer with something on the back of it.
Oh, we don't desperately need it to pull something.
Okay, you
We'll
just wanna-
use a Land Rover 110 for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
It'll be really slow, but you'll get there in the end, probably.
So yeah, DM us if you've got any of those cool things. For now, thank you very much again to Edd China for hosting us and also being on the Car Throttle podcast. Poxy little Car Throttle podcast, which is actually #1 in the charts.
Nice.
Don't want to boast, but yeah, we're smashing it.
Boast every week.
So yeah, thank you very much, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
See you later.
Oh, my ass is now actually
yours.
numb. Yeah.
I need a shower.
All right, thanks everyone. Bye bye.
See ya.